Hello, it's Film Frenzy. I'm coming at you all with another movie review, this time for Green Book, which I got to see through a GoFobo early screening, and I absolutely loved it. So I'm going to get right into the review. First category, direction and visuals. Let's get right into this review. I'm really excited because I love reviewing good movies, almost as much as I love reviewing bad movies, because it's fun to rant. Anyway, direction visuals is up first, and this film isn't a big blockbuster or anything, but it still has remarkable visuals. There's nothing really to discount here, so I'm giving it a perfect 5 out of 5. I always love great piano shots, and I was really hoping that this one would deliver, and completely did. Some of those shots are very unique, and I just love the close-ups. There's this one shot where it goes through, like, the cover of the piano, like, if the piano's like this, like, the shot goes, like, through that, and you see, like, the inner workings of the piano to get to Mahershala Ali playing. It was just really cleverly done. I love how, like, just the visual representation of the time period is very nice, and showing different, like, areas of the country too. I'm pretty sure this movie wasn't on a huge budget, and I think they did a great job with that. They showed, like, Alabama versus New York. You really see the difference. It's really just really cleverly done, and I think the direction and visuals are just excellent. So that's why this category is just perfect. Now it's time to talk about acting and character development. This movie boasts an excellent cast. I mean, now there's not a whole lot of, like, super famous people or anything, but every single character in this film does their job perfectly. All of the actors, I feel like, were just perfectly cast, and, like, there's a lot of names I haven't heard of, but I feel like every character just, like, or every actor embodied their role completely and just, like, absorbed into it. For example, like, the main two, which are the two famous people, Mahershala Ali, first of all, well, he became famous really because of his Oscar-winning performance in Moonlight, which is amazing. So you got Moonlight right here. It's on this side, actually. And yeah, anyway, so he was playing a drug dealer in that, and this he's like this like proper like penis who has like multiple PhDs, and he completely pulls it off. He has so many layers in this. His acting is unbelievable, and I really hope he gets nominated again, and maybe he even has a chance of winning, and he'll be 2 for 2 for Oscar wins. You know, this guy, he has an incredible range. Viggo Mortensen is another one, nominated for Captain Fantastic. I wish I had a poster back here. I love that movie, but he plays a completely different character in this. He's like this like kind of improper old-fashioned Italian dude. It's great, and he plays a lot of levels also. These guys have so great chemistry, and they perfectly play their roles. Acting is perfect. Character development, well, all the characters, like the side characters, they're not going to get a ton of time, but they still get like developed, properly developed for how they should be in this film. But the movie really just focuses on two people. It's one of those where it's just like really just the relationship of two people, and both these characters are really well developed. Mahershala Ali's character is really, he's struggling with his identity during the film, and you see like the layers unfold and as like the movie progresses. At first you think he's just kind of like this stuck up guy who's just trying to be like just trying to like act as like just a great representation for like African American people, and then you see it how he's just like he's having difficulty because he feels like he doesn't fit in like the black culture or the white culture, and he becomes this really deep character, and he has this great bond with Viggo Mortensen's character, who's more just he's more than just like a dumb Italian guy. And they get developed too. Like Viggo Mortensen's character, he starts off kind of like racist. I know it's kind of predictable, but like you know, they like start to understand each other throughout, and they both have preconceptions about each other. But by the end of the film, they really love each other. They have an endearing friendship, and you see that in real life. It continued to their deaths in 2013, and I think that's really just beautiful. I love how it's based off a true story, and so this category, I'm giving a perfect 5 out of 5 again. Sure, maybe it was a little cliched, the character development, like how Viggo Mortensen's character, he started off, or Tony is his name, he started off a little bit like kind of too like obviously racist. It felt like too sudden almost of a switch from like being like more accepting, but it made sense because he won the money. So overall, I think it was a realistic and just great character development, excellent acting, and just really endearing characters too. Finally, I have the story elements, or the make it or break it category, before I reveal my final score. How is this film gonna fare in the make it or break it category? Well, it's gonna make it. So, first off, we got plot. And by make it, this isn't gonna be as good as the other two categories because it's so hard to get a perfect score in here. I'm just gonna preface this by saying there's definitely faults with this movie. Very few movies are perfect. This is not one of them. So, for plot, this movie is a bit predictable, as I mentioned earlier, with the character development, And this type of movie, like, you kind of seen before, like, where two characters, they learn from each other, and, like, lots of these movies have to do, like, racism and stuff like that, and you kind of know where it's gonna go, but it's still an enjoyable ride. You know, it's about the journey. So, I don't really care too much that's a predictable plot because it takes the formula and uses it amazingly, and some of my favorite movies are formula movies, so it's perfectly fine. Not every movie is gonna be a Memento. Anyway, so then with plot also though, I feel like sometimes you get like a little bit repetitive because this film revolves around um Tony. He's driving around Mahershala Ali's pianist character, and he's on a nationwide tour, and so it's like the different stops, and it feels like there's like racist moments at each stop, and it gets a little bit like repetitive. It gets in this little like momentous like thing that just keeps on going like in like increments, and I don't like when plots get like that because it feels just too like kind of scientifically like done, like an exact. I like how plot. I would want plots to like flow, if that makes sense, and not just be very repetitive. So I have to take off a little bit there. But other than that, I thought the plot was very solid. I'm not sure if this counts as plot, but occasionally I feel like it would kind of like get a little bit tonally inconsistent. Like those mainly in the first half, where because this film actually has a lot of comedy, which I'm gonna talk about with my script category right here. That this movie's hilarious. It's by one of the Farrelly brothers, and they're the ones that did like There's Something About Mary, so it shows. It's hilarious. Almost all the jokes click, although some I feel like are kind of a little bit recycled. But getting back to the totally inconsistent thing, in the first half of the movie, I feel like it would be a little bit too sudden sometimes to shift to drama because most of the movie is more comedic. It's not dramatic, although the third act gets a little bit more. But I feel like by the second half of the movie, the film's getting a little bit more better and really understands its tone, and it balances the comedy and drama much better. But in the first half, there's some sudden changes that I wasn't a big fan of. But the pacing is excellent. The editing is always great. The transition's excellent, and it never like slows down. It's not too fast. It just gives a consistent, steady pace throughout, and that's why I love to see. Finally, theme. So this isn't just like about racism or anything. This takes racism, but it talks about like identity, and I think it does that great. Sometimes it'll hit you over the head a little bit too much, or it will kind of oversimplify things and won't go deep enough into a topic that I wanted to be addressed. Like, there's a spoiler right here. Spoiler tab will be up until I finish the spoiler. For example, Mahershala Ali, his homosexuality, the character's homosexuality in the film, I'm not sure if it should have been addressed more because maybe that elongated the runtime too much, but I feel like it was touched upon very quickly and then brought back to race, and maybe that's a good thing, but I feel like they could have done a little bit more of that, maybe. Okay, spoiler done. So, yeah, I feel like some things were a little bit oversimplified with the theme, and it is complex, though. I think there's a great big conversation where he's basically struggling with his identity, and it's about being alone in the world, and these characters, they are learning. And I love how they're both severely flawed characters in very different capacities. And they take a little bit from each other. And it's just really a film about if you really get to know someone, that can really leave a lasting impression on you. And I love that. It's the type of story we need in these days. And I think it's beautiful. So this category, I'll be giving a 4 out of 5. The story elements, it stumbles a little bit with plot mostly, and occasionally with the script. But overall, it's really solid. And what does that lead? My overall score, an amazing 4.5 out of 5. This is definitely one of my favorite movies of the year. I really hope and I think it will get nominated for a heck of a lot of Oscars. It totally deserves it. I came in with decently high expectations and it still exceeded them like a lot. This movie is really enjoyable. I can't wait to see it again, which is kind of rare for this biopic type movie, but because of the great comedy and just really just feel good aspect of it. It feels like it could function as like a Thanksgiving, like Christmas movie hybrid. It's coming out at a perfect time of the year. It's just a great movie. So when it comes to your theater near you, I highly suggest you go out and see it and show your support for this excellent, excellent movie. Thank you for watching. Comment down your opinions on Green Book down below. See you guys later. Make sure to like and subscribe to Film Frenzy for more awesome movie videos. Bye.